Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Peterson, and today I'm going to be playing some Nuclear Throne. So, this game has been sitting in my Steam library for a while, just kind of collecting dust. I haven't opened it in a while, haven't played it in a pretty long time, but I thought that today I'd play it again instead of playing a rhythm game. This is mainly a rhythm game channel, mainly rhythm games and like music content, but I want to try something that's kind of outside of that box of content. So, I'm just going to be playing a roguelike today. I've always loved roguelike games. I've always loved the fact that I've always loved that there's permadeath in roguelikes because it makes it so that you really have to like learn the ins and outs of the game if you want to beat it, you know. As opposed to a game that has a lot of checkpoints and stuff like that, you don't really I feel like you're not as incentivized to get better at the game if it's not a roguelike. So that's why I just really like difficult games like this. They're really fun to me. So yeah, who should I pick? I think I'll pick the chicken melee character. I think this is one of the harder characters to play because using melee in this is kind of risky, especially because the game is so fast paced and like a lot of enemies later on into the game start using a lot of projectiles. So getting up close is going to be really dangerous. But I mean, at least I can like reflect the projectiles back. I think that's pretty cool. I've also been thinking about doing content where I just play visual novels. Like, I personally think I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings when it comes to visual novels because I feel like visual novels can be fun to play, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. I've never really been the kind of person to enjoy reading, but I feel like if I'm reading to an audience, it'll kind of make it more fun as opposed to like just reading for myself. Like I've been wanting to read Steins Gate. I've been wanting to get into the Syad series. I've been wanting to read Steins Gate. I've been wanting to read Chaos Child. I read Chaos Head. That's a good one. Even though I was kind of boring at times, I did manage to read most of it. I didn't finish it, but I read a lot of it. Let's see. I want this one. That seems like a good one to have. All right, let's go. Oh my god, no. Oh. It's really easy to get overwhelmed by enemies in this game if you're in a bad position like that. When the boss spawns in, you gotta be prepared to know where it's gonna spawn at. I only have 6 health points, which isn't that much. Alright. Gotta be careful. So, I've been thinking about traveling a lot, and the 3 places I want to travel to the most are Germany, Oregon, and Japan. And here's the reasons why I want to travel to those places. So, the reason why I want to go to Germany is because I've always been a big fan of the Call of Duty Zombies series, like Nazi zombies. Um, there's a lot of references to German culture, and a lot of the names of things in that are in German. Like, for example, the map Nacht der Untoten. It just means Night of the Undead in English, which is pretty cool. Or like Der Ries, which just means the giant in English. And so I just think German is a really cool language, and I'm really interested in learning it. Like everything that's in German sounds cool. So yeah. And also, I've been wanting to go to Japan. That's like that's the other place I want to go to because I've always been a big fan of rhythm games, of course. I mean, as you can probably tell if you look at the other videos on my channel, I'm a huge fan of rhythm games. I want to go there to play the games that they have at their arcades and stuff like that. And of course, probably try to just go to some important spots, I guess, like important structures or whatever, like shrines and stuff like that. I think that'd be cool. And maybe get some anime figurines as well, because I've also been getting some anime figures just out of boredom, kind of. I don't know. I just kind of like how they look in my room. Like, I got a By Cute Bunny Sonico figure. I also got an Albedo figure from Overlord. They're pretty cute, I guess. I also want to go to a maid cafe. Even though I think it'd be kind of embarrassing to go there, I just want to do it just to try it out. Like, I wonder how that'd be, going to a maid cafe. There's also a restaurant in Japan where women serve you food from their armpits. But it's like, of course, their armpits have to be clean and shaven, of course. They can't be sweaty or anything. But essentially, they just get food. They just put it in their armpits and, like, they just rub it in their armpits and then they serve it to you so you can eat it. So I guess that's like the dream restaurant for a person who has an armpit fetish. Which I don't understand how people have an armpit fetish, but I mean, if you're into that, I mean, that's okay. Everyone has their own thing. But I personally don't understand. So, I want to talk about music for a bit. So, I haven't actually been listening to that much music recently because, I don't know, I feel like I kind of go through phases where I won't listen to music for a couple of months because it just seems really uninteresting, but I've been trying to start listening to music again because a couple of days ago, I met this guy and he's like a musician. He plays a piano, plays a bass and guitar, and I went over to his place and I played the piano and we played some jazz tunes. He's a jazz musician. And so I got a free lesson from him while I was there. And he said he could give me lessons, but of course I have to pay him, but he can give me lessons and he was like, "Yeah, you should start listening to more music, start listening to more pianists so you can get familiarized with their playing and just get the playing inside your ears. So you're not just you don't so you have some musical information in your head to go off of." And so I was like, well, okay, I guess I'll try doing that. So right now in the background, I know you can't hear it, but I'm actually listening to Mulgrew Miller, and he's a pretty good jazz pianist. He plays a lot of crazy fast stuff. Like, it's really hard to keep track of what he's doing because, like, I feel like I do want to do some transcription someday, some transcription work, and I would like to transcribe Mulgrew Miller, but it's like I feel like it'd be so hard because everything he plays is so complex. He's like one of the more modern jazz pianists, so he's kind of like taking the tradition and like bringing it to a whole nother level. So I mean, I'm not surprised that he's hard to transcribe. I think a lot of modern players do a lot of crazy stuff that's hard to transcribe. I've also been listening to Bud Powell too. He's definitely a lot. He would be a lot easier to transcribe because he's a more like older traditional jazz pianist. But yeah, they're really good, and I've been interested in taking lessons. Of course, I'm not going to start right away with lessons, but eventually I do want to start taking lessons. I think that'd be good for me, not just for me musically, but just for me in general. Like, it give me something to do. It add more balance to my life, my day. It give me a purpose in life. I mean, I have goals to work towards. I want to get better at the piano. Okay, that's a goal that gives me purpose in life. Uh, I want to get a job. Once I have a job, I'll have a purpose in life. Hopefully, I enjoy my job. If it's something I enjoy doing, that'll give me more purpose. So that's two extra reasons to keep on living. I think I think it's good to have a purpose in life. It's good to have goals because if you don't, then like why are you living? If that's at that point you're just existing. So you want to live for a reason. And I want to live to do good things for people in the world. I want to give people joy. I want to make videos. I want to make music. I want to make people feel emotions through my art. And that's why I live. So yeah, that's my purpose in life. Anyways, oh shit. Oh no. What do I do? I'm gonna die. Okay. I forgot that those guys explode. Um, I'll pick this guy. It's pretty funny. Funny MLG character. So, I've been in therapy recently. I got last year I got into therapy around October, I think, and it's been pretty helpful for me because, I get to talk to her about my problems and stuff. You know, I get to talk to her about stuff that I feel uncomfortable to tell to people outside of therapy, like even my own family. I feel uncomfortable to share some certain information with friends, of course. Sometimes I just feel like it's straight up inappropriate to tell certain information to people outside of therapy in general. So I've been talking to her about stuff. And something I talk to her about her often is my porn addiction because like ever since I was like 10, I think 10, yeah. 10 is when I was like introduced to porn for the very first time. So I started looking at porn from a very young age. And over time, it's just gotten worse and worse. Like at first, it was more like I just needed to look at something simple. Like, I don't know, like search up a pair of titties on Google. All right, that works for me. But now, over time, it's like I've started looking at more extreme content. It's like I need more to feel good. So it went from that to like looking at other stuff that I'm not gonna mention. But yeah, it's not good, man. Because like my porn addiction, I feel like it's making me not normal. And I talked to her about my porn addiction. She's like, "Well, I can find you a support group for porn addicts who are trying to quit porn." I'm like, okay, maybe that'd be cool. So I've been thinking about getting into one of those support groups so I can, finally kick this porn addiction out of my life because I feel like it's affecting my brain's health so much. Yes, porn isn't good for you. It's unfortunate how easily accessible porn is too. It's like I feel like any kid with access to the internet can stumble upon porn so easily on accident. It's pretty unfortunate. Porn industry makes a lot of money too. Makes a lot of money. They're very rich. Technical difficulties. My game is lagging for some reason. I don't know why it's lagging. I hate this. Please stop lagging. Okay, thank you. Okay. Hopefully I get some ammo soon because I'm starting to run out. Oh no. So I feel like over time my taste in women has kind of changed. Like, so I feel like in high school, by the way, I'm 21 years old, so I am still like pretty relatively young. I graduated from high school May of 2023. So, anyways, back in high school, I feel like I liked girls who are kind of like, well, of course they have to be nice. They they didn't have to necessarily be like smart to any extent. They didn't have to have any real skills like something like anything related to art. They didn't have to have any real skills related to like art or like talent. But I feel like these days I really value like just art and talent. I just find it really attractive if a girl is like into art. And if I were to date a girl, I would want her to be into art. Of course, I'd want her to be kind. I don't want I don't want a girl who makes bad choices in life. Like I want one who's smart, who knows how to make good choices, who can make even better choices than I make, who can make choices for me, perhaps. I mean, of course, not everything, but that just be nice to have that kind of support. Like two brains is better than one. So, well, yeah, this girl I dated in high school actually, she was into poetry and she was into reading too. Those were like her two passions. Well, she was also into making art too. That was one of her passions. And she was a talented artist and a talented poet. But I don't know. I don't want to get into it, but that relationship didn't go so well. She had her own stuff. She had a lot of issues. I had my own issues, and things didn't work out. But it's not that I've lost all hope when it comes to relationships. I believe that I'll be able to find someone who's even better than my last partner. It's just a matter of time until I do. I just gotta focus on myself for a while, which is part of why I'm doing these videos. Because it's one of my hobbies. This is something I like to do to give myself joy. I don't need anyone else to make me happy right now. I can make myself happy by doing stuff that I like, aka my hobbies. Oh shit, I'm out of ammo. Oh no. Oh, I got him. I actually might put some background music in this video just because, just for more, just so it's not too boring, I guess. I've also turned off the music in this game, so there's that. Alright, less enemy HP, that sounds good. This run has been going pretty well so far. So there's this place that I want to go to called Magfest, and from what I remember, it's kind of like a convention for music and video games. And at Magfest, I think Magfest takes place in Wisconsin only. At Magfest, there's this jam session where people just play video game tunes, and I would really love to go to one because that seems really cool. I think there's also another similar jam session to that in New York, but I forgot the name of the place. But they do play video game tunes there, so that'd be nice to go to. Oh yeah, and speaking of New York, I do want to visit New York someday. Because, well, first off, that's a really big place for musicians to go to. You know, if you want to get work as a musician, they'll tell you. Usually, people say go to New York because that's a great place to find work. Um, and I'd love to go there and play some music with people, to meet some people. That'd be awesome. And also just explore New York and just see what there is to do. You know, it's a melting pot of a city because there's so many people from everywhere around the world that go to New York. You can find anyone like from anywhere around the world in New York. I gotta figure out a way to get to this ammo without getting hurt. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This game is so hard sometimes. This is my favorite character because they're the easiest to play with. And they also they have an ability that literally can make them invulnerable, so there's that. Pretty overpowered. I gotta get myself positioned well so I don't get fucked over. I'm not in a very good position right now. Oh, that wasn't too bad. So, kind of related to life stuff, I'm having a really hard time deciding if I want to pursue any kind of higher education or not. And I mean, I know, of course, like there's no kind of rush, of course, but it's like there's a lot of stuff that I am interested in studying in college, a lot of ideas I could come up with, but at the same time, it's also like there's a lot of stuff about college that I don't like. Like for example, I'm gonna have to do work that I don't want to do if I want to study the stuff that I want to study. There's also, just how much it costs. It can be so expensive, and I'm not sure if I want to have any kind of student debt after going to college. I don't want to go and then regret it and then like have student debt. So there's that. But at the same time, I do feel like there could be a lot of good from college. Like, when, of course, when it comes to not to the stuff that I have to study, I can study, I can study music. I can study, well, jazz music specifically because I've always been a huge fan of jazz. That's like my passion. Uh, I can probably study the piano there and meet a lot of people there, make more connections. But then the other part of me just wants to kind of like find work and then just kind of stay in that spot, that comfortable spot, just where I'm like just working and I don't have to worry about school. So I don't know, but I have time to decide what I want to do. So there's no rush about it. Oh yeah, but also I would have to go to community college first because my GPA is below average, unfortunately. In high school, I'll just say this: I didn't make the greatest choices, so my GPA ended up being really low around the time I graduated, and basically, my only choice really is to go to community college to get my GPA up before I can go to any kind of university. It's kind of the only choice I have, so that's kind of annoying. If I could go back in the past, I would tell myself to take school more seriously, to not be so lazy, because literally all day, whenever I came from school in high school, I would just play video games and like just do hobby stuff, which is cool. I mean, it's nice having hobbies, but then of course there's the things that you have to do. You have responsibilities. I have a hard time understanding that, how important it was. But I guess you can either learn the easy way or you can learn the hard way. I could have learned the easy way if I listened to people who wanted me to take school seriously. Like my teachers wanted me to do better in school. My girlfriend at the time wanted me to do better in school. She's like, Matthew, you should just do your homework. Like, we should probably stop hanging out for a bit. You should just focus on your work and school. I'm like, no, I want to hang out and stuff. Blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, my mom too. She wanted me to do my work, and she got really involved with the school and stuff. She would always be like, email this teacher, email that teacher about this work, get some extra help for your math teacher after school. And I just didn't want to do any of it. I was like, I just want to do whatever I want to do, you know. But looking back on it, I feel like I really appreciate more the help and support that people tried to give to me. Yeah, at first I thought it was just annoying, but I feel like I understand why people wanted to help me, you know. People wanted to help me so I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in right now, to where I'm having to go to community college to get my GPA up so I can go to uni. But yeah, I don't know. People grow, people learn from their mistakes. That's me. As long as I'm learning, then I think that's a good reason to continue living. And part of why I live is to learn new things. If I didn't learn anything new, that then life would just be boring. So also, speaking of learning things, people say that having immortality is like a curse because if you're immortal, of course, all of your loved ones will die. You will outlive everyone eventually. But I feel like having immortality wouldn't be that bad because, well, you'd have as much time as you want to learn as many skills as you want to get as good as many things as you want to get good at. To learn anything, you can just learn everything. There's an infinite amount of information, and there's also unanswered questions too, like unanswered questions about life, the origins of life, how things come into existence. I heard a theory that like the way that humans showed up on Earth, it wasn't like there was just a human that showed up. It was more like evolution. So it started off with an amoeba, and then eventually the amoeba transformed and evolved into a human. So it wasn't just a human at first. But that's an interesting theory I learned. Um, yeah, if I was immortal, I would want to learn as many things as possible so I can just do good for the world, like just do good things for people. Because I feel like if as long as I'm doing that, I'd never get bored with being immortal. Because I'd always be doing good things for people, making the world a better place to live in. With all the stuff I learned. So I think that's a good reason. I think that's a good enough purpose to have in life. Alright, I'm gonna do one more run and then I'm gonna end off the video because I don't want it to be too long. As I said in another video, my laptop isn't the best, so it takes a really long time to upload videos if they're too long. Like sometimes it just won't even upload at all. So I want to keep this one relatively short. Then hopefully when I get a new laptop that's better, I can make longer videos. But as of now, they've got to be around like 20 to 30 minutes, so yeah. This is a pretty decent gaming laptop though. Like it can run Roblox pretty well. I can play Power World on low graphics though. I can what else can I play? I could probably play Dragon Ball Xenoverse too. That's a PS4 game. As long as it's on low graphics, because I think that game is optimized pretty well for PC. That's one that I've been wanting to play. So something about me that's kind of annoying is that I feel like I'll be very passionate about things and I'll want to do big things. But it's like at the same time, I think about the work that's needed to actually have those things happen, and I just get into this kind of really lazy attitude like I just don't want to work. I just hate working in general. I've always felt like I've been a lazy person. I've been the kind of person who'd rather dream about good things happening, doing great things, than actually doing the work to get there. And I feel like I need more discipline. That's part of why I want to take lessons. But I want to actually get into that mindset like, okay, I'm going to have to work really hard. If I want to get there, it's going to be a long road there. If I want this good thing to happen, because good things happen. I feel like most good things happen when you actually put in the work to make them happen. It's easy for bad things to happen because you don't really need to do anything for bad things to happen. I'm not sure how to put it, but it's like my point is that good things take hard work, I feel like, and sacrifice. Oh shit. Oh well. Dang, just my run was ended just by that one barrel. Well, I might record some more Nuclear Throne or something. I might record another roguelike game. I'm not sure, but yeah, yes, I've been recording for nearly 40 minutes. Damn, I thought that was only like 20 minutes. It didn't feel like 40 minutes. Okay, well, yeah, that's Nuclear Throne. Uh, yeah. Okay, bye.